you so sad? Why are you trying to put all the pain away?
Well, I don't think I like art anymore because I was Googling and I Googled a bunch of famous painters and I saw all their famous paintings and a horrible truth came into my mind. And that truth is this: I'm not good at art. I'm not any good at it because I will never, ever, ever, ever be as great as those famous painters were, ever. So, I'm done.
Do you think that's true? That you're not good at art at all?
Well, yeah. The thought came into my mind, Lana is not good at art. It's in my head. It has to be true, right?
Well, no, that's not true at all. And that reminds me of our lesson for today. We're going to be learning about God's truth for us.
God's truth?
Yeah, there are a lot of convincing lies in this world, and believe it or not, it's one of the devil's favorite tools. He tries to make us believe that God's word isn't true, and he tries to convince us things about ourselves that aren't true either.
Oh, so like the things I was believing about my art. Ugh. Oh, and we can be for sure that God's word is true and trustworthy, right?
Right. And I have a permanent marker verse just for you. Check it out.
Yay.
John 14:6. Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Jesus is the truth. And the book of John also tells us, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Thanks, Alyssa. Okay, so some of the words in those verses might have been a little confusing. So why don't we explore a story in the Bible to learn more about God's truth? Check out this story about Joseph. Joseph was a confident young boy who lived with his father, Jacob, and his many brothers. Joseph was the youngest and had much confidence because his father loved him so very much. His father loved him so deeply that he gave him a special gift, a beautiful coat of many colors. Joseph's brothers became jealous of this special relationship that Joseph had with their father. And then, even though he didn't intend to, Joseph made it worse. He confided that he had had many dreams where he saw his brothers bowing before him. His brothers really had enough. It was bad enough that Joseph had their father's favor, but now he was supposed to rule over them too? So they took matters into their own hands. They took Joseph, tore his beautiful robe, and sold him into slavery. Then they told their father that he had been killed by wild animals.
Can you see all the lies that are being told in this situation? First of all, the brothers were caught up in their jealousy, and they thought it would be better if they just sold Joseph into slavery, but we know this wouldn't work. So they tried to cover up their bad behavior and lied to their dad. Can you see all these lies? Guess what happens next?
Joseph goes from being rejected by his brothers to being sold as a slave in a land called Egypt. He was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. But because God was with Joseph, all of the work he did for the officer flourished. Joseph relied on God, and God gave him the favor of Potiphar. Joseph was promoted and became a well-established attendant, finding success in all he did. Potiphar's wife had noticed Joseph, and she tried to get Joseph to go against his master's wishes. Joseph would not do as she demanded, so Potiphar's wife told Potiphar that Joseph had behaved badly and treated her poorly. Potiphar believed this lie and put Joseph in prison.
Yikes, another lie! This lie had devastating effects on Joseph. He lost his job, his authority, and he went to prison. But guess what? He still believed God's truth about him instead of believing lies.
While in prison, Joseph continued leaning on God and his truth. Joseph happened to be in the same prison where some of Pharaoh's servants were, and they were puzzling over dreams they had. They didn't know what their dreams meant. Joseph knew that interpreting dreams was something God was amazing at, so he relied on God's power and helped these servants learn about their dreams. Many years later, Pharaoh learned of Joseph's ability to interpret dreams and called on him to interpret a dream of his. Because Joseph relied on God's power, he was once again promoted to a position of high authority. Through this position, he was given rule over Egypt and was even able to meet his brothers again and reconcile their relationship. God's truth prevailed, and God worked all of these bad situations out for the good.
Joseph's story is a great one because he had a lot of opportunities to believe lies, but instead, he stayed plugged into God's truth for his life.
Exactly. So, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna play everyone's favorite game, Truth or Trash! Yeah!
Woo!
Now, in this game, we are going to list some facts from the story of Joseph. Now, this isn't a game of true or false. Most of the things we're going to be listing are going to be true things that happened in the story, but you have to help us determine if those things were God's truth or if they were trash, lies that the characters were believing in the story. All right, are you ready? Get your buzzers, get your bells, or whatever you need to play the game. Come on down and answer these questions in truth or trash. And go.
Joseph was well loved by God and his earthly father Jacob.
Truth! Woo! Yeah, you got it. You're good at this game.
Good job, guys.
Okay, next question. Joseph's brothers believed that getting rid of Joseph would make their lives better.
Trash!
Yeah, this is a lie that Joseph's brothers believed. In fact, Joseph ended up coming through for them. They needed him.
God stayed with Joseph through the hard parts of his story and helped him rise to power.
Truth! Yeah, good job. You got it. Truth. Well done. All right. Joseph's life was then perfect because he loved God.
Trash!
Yeah, actually, Joseph had many difficult things happen in his life. So God doesn't promise us that life is going to be easy, but he does promise that he is going to be with us through it all, just like he was with Joseph.
Joseph behaved badly to Potiphar and wasn't a good worker for him.
Trash!
Potiphar believed the lie that Joseph wasn't a good worker for him, but Joseph was never unfaithful. Even though this lie affected Joseph's life, it didn't change who he was to God.
God's truth prevailed in Joseph's life, and it all worked out for the good of God.
Truth!
Yeah! So, well done, you guys. You guys are becoming pros at figuring out what is truth and what is trash.
When you go through something difficult, or when you're tempted to believe lies that people may say about you or God, take some time to play truth or trash and stay plugged into God's truth for you.
Yeah, I am definitely going to be remembering that when I start believing lies about art. I'm actually really good at art, and I might not be the next Mozart or Picasso or Kandinsky or Vivaldi, but that's okay. I am God's masterpiece. I am created on purpose for a purpose.
And that's a truth we can all hold on to.
Yeah! Your truth. Your truth.